as a prosecutor, and an individual could have just been sentenced to X amount of time in prison, and you have no security.
That's scary.
When you think about it, and when you say it out loud.
I'm sorry for saying it, but
scary.
In me, a sister stays strapped. I am in Texas, okay?
In Texas.
Listen, and and I love my guns. I got some amazing guns, okay? Amazing ones, okay? Welcome to Black Aristocrat, where kings and queens beam and get seen.
Yes! Black Aristocrat, we here! Yes!
All right. Welcome to Black Aristocrat. You are not going to believe my guest today. I am just thrilled and honored to bring to you straight from the bench, Judge Audra Riley.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
I cannot tell me what criminal court number are you?
I am in Criminal Court District 3.
District 3. I knew it was 3, actually. I kind of just wanted to hear you say.
Yes.
That is so amazing.
Thank you.
And I mean, you are my alum. We are alum.
Absolutely.
Do you know you graduated 06?
Yes, 2006.
And I graduated 07.
Yes.
However, I didn't start practicing for like 3 years because I had to try to figure out how to take the bar.
Okay.
I had no money.
I didn't know that.
I didn't have no money.
Yeah,
I didn't have no money. You didn't either?
Broke.
I know.
Yes.
Broke, no joke.
That's
we were
right.
definitely poor law school students. So you have to. I am so honored that you are with me today. I wanted you to know that I chose you specifically because I just know you to be this compassionate, wonderful person who tries to see the good in everyone. And I am you're a Texas girl.
That's right.
So tell the people where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm from Texarkana, Texas, born and raised there all the way through until I went to undergraduate school.
Okay. My gosh. So Oh my goodness. So you went to elementary, all of that in Texarkana. What county is Texarkana again?
That's Bowie County, and I started kindergarten all the way through high school. I went to Liberty Ilo Independent School District.
Oh my goodness.
Proud Leopard.
A proud leopard. That's what the name. Did you do any sports or any extracurricular when you were in school?
I did. So I played softball for about 8 years. I played volleyball. I ran track. I played basketball. So I was an athlete. Somewhat of a tomboy, actually.
Oh my God, gag me with a spoon. No, I'm just kidding. I was never that girl. I was just I was president of student council.
I love it.
I was anything, of course, speech and debate.
Yes.
Just basic stuff. I'm a loser when it comes to physical activity. So I admire that so much because even now I don't work out, which is terrible to say. I want to work out. I want to work out my brain and get the endorphins, but I'm really bad at it.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. We can work out together. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for that encouragement. I'm going to try. I'm going to do better though, because I'm getting older now, and so it's harder to,
Yes. It gets harder though. You get for sure.
Yes, this is so amazing. So I don't know, what's something special that I should know about Texarkana?
Texarkana. Well, they call it the Twin City, and that's because you can have one foot in the state of Arkansas and the other foot in the state of Texas. So you have a Texarkana, Texas, and a Texarkana, Arkansas.
See, fun fact.
Fun fact.
How would anyone know?
Yeah.
So tell me, did you grow up like in a household with like both mom and dad? Any siblings?
Yes, so I grew up with both my parents. They are still married, Darnell and Rita Riley. And I have a sister, April, a brother, we call him Tank. And then that's from my parents. And then I have two brothers, Barry and Kevin. And I have a sister, we call her Peaches.
Wow. So like, did you like, so what's in Texarkana? So that's like 5, right? Or 6?
Yes.
Yeah. So is it like a farm, single family home? Like, just trying to get a little feel for this Texarkana.
Texarkana has grown quite a bit since I lived there. I left in 1998. That's when I graduated. But at the time, I mean, we grew up in a like middle class household neighborhood, well, low to middle class neighborhood. It's not a bunch of country roads. You know, we have a mall there, fast food, things of that nature. But, you know, we have hospitals, things like that. But for me, I wanted to just kind of spread my wings a little bit. So I left.
Did they care like about like football? Like, how we got Friday Night Lights? Like,
gosh, football, Friday nights, that's the thing. You have to go to the football games.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, my kids went to like Allen. So, I mean, they were like the first to get like one of those $60 million stadiums.
Wow.
And like Friday Night Lights was like Friday Night Lit, you know, like it was just so lit. Let me go back a little bit to your time in Texarkana. So mom and dad, you grew up in a family where your mom and dad were married, and you have your siblings, and you're in this kind of small town, and you're doing, all your sports. And was there any? What was it? Was it like? Is it like black people in the town, or
Yeah, black people, white people. It's a good diverse city to live in. The high school that I went to was very diverse. Our classmates, we got along very well.
Okay. Yeah, I just, it's like people think of the South and then they're like, oh, and I tell people all the time when I'm like on the East Coast, I'm like, you have no idea. Yeah. Like the South is like, they're running circles around some of y'all in education.
Right.
And they're doing some amazing things. They own property. They're property owners. I mean, not just renters. And like, there's a lot of amazing things about growing up in the South that I can say coming from the East Coast that I like admire and respect.
Yes.
And so I was just asking that question. So I got to figure out where you grew up and all that stuff. Would you say was church like a part of your life growing up there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Macedonia Baptist Church. We were there most Wednesdays and every Sundays. Even when we didn't want to go, my mom, she would drag us, make us go to church. So I grew up, you could say, in the church every Sunday. Bible study, summer vacation Bible school, we were there.
Yeah, vacation Bible school.
Absolutely.
Yes, honey. That is that's just tremendous. And I think that you've just like kept that a part of your life. It's just a part of who you are.
Yeah.
And now. And so I just like to love that. It's always like faith, family. And I'm always getting into that because it means a lot to have that foundation. I know for me, having a relationship with God is like one of the most important things. When I was younger, I mean, I don't necessarily know if I kind of thought the same way, but I can't imagine not having that relationship now, especially doing the difficult job that's required of lawyers.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure it's even more difficult as a judge.
Yeah, so my faith has always been strong since I was little. We went to church, but I always knew that there was something more powerful that's beyond this world that we live in. I've always known that since I was a little girl, and so having that foundation of going to the church and hearing the pastor preach and just absorbing all of those biblical lessons, it has truly helped me throughout my journey in life and in adulthood. And you hear about God and you learn about God and you develop your faith, and your faith gets stronger as you become an adult, and just as you get older in life. And sometimes for me, I don't know about everyone else, your faith, it wavers sometimes, and then but that's a part of life. So I'm glad you asked me that, because my faith is a priority.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think I can do it without. I mean,
Right.
it's just and just waking up every day and being so grateful for just the lessons, because there
Absolutely.
was the 4-hour drives up and down the highway to get from doing hair here to get to law school, and just wondering if I was gonna have like gas, like enough gas to get me there, to get me through, so to have come full circle. And I say that to say, you tell me what that was like. So when you left, when you graduated from high school, you went on to, where'd you go to undergrad?
So I went to Sam Houston State University.
Okay.
That's in Huntsville.
Yeah, Huntsville.
Yeah,
I remember
Huntsville.
seeing that big old statue.
Huge statue.
Uh-huh.
The first time you see it, like, what is that? Yeah, Sam Houston State University.
We were like, who's that slave owner?
Yeah, it's something to see for sure.
No, that's what we were like. We were serious. That's the first time I saw Buc-ee's.
Right.
And then the first time, and that, me and my daughter, we kind of joked, but that was on our trip. 4 hours each way.
Yes.
For all those years.
Yeah.
So what was it like going what did you study there?
So I majored in criminal justice and I minored in psychology, and I loved it. So I am the first in my family to go to college, so I wasn't quite sure what it was all about, but my dad for sure wanted me to go to college. I personally wanted to go to the Air Force because I told you I was very athletic, and for you used your brain. You were in student council and any sort of like debate teams, and for me, I know I'm athletic. I know I'm smart, but I know I'm athletic. That's what I really know. I made A's and B's. And so I thought, hey, Air Force, military, that was the route for me. My dad was in the Army, so hey, why not? But my dad, he kind of sat me down and said he wanted me to go to law school. So I went. I mean, not to law school, but to undergrad.
Oh, okay.
And so I went to undergrad not knowing exactly what I was getting myself into, because in my mind, I was different from other college students. I didn't think that was the path for me. Honestly, just looking back, it was just not knowing, being unaware of what to expect. But I went, I made friends. We had a good time. I had a blast at undergrad.
Really?
Yes, I had a good time.
I love hearing the stories about how people had such a good time at undergrad, because I didn't go to college till I was like 30.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
But you went.
Yeah,
You went.
I did. I always wanted to go, but I just did hair young, and then I started traveling with entertainers, and then I was like, oh, this is an amazing life. And then I had the salons, and it was just kind of that thing.
So you had a career prior to going to undergrad. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a choice. I was a young mom, so I was like, okay, welfare or work, and I was like, work.
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 Like, you got to do what you got to do. That's right.
I'm sorry that I just did the work.
I like Rihanna.
She was like, I'm a judge, but I like Rihanna. I like her.
Yeah.
So then you did you go to law school right after undergraduate, or did you take some time, or how did that go?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I was, had the idea that I want to go to law school. I want to try it out. Why not? I got through college. Let's try out law school. And I waited too late for admissions to go right into law school. So there was 1 year. And I was in Houston, Texas at that time. So I worked for a year, and then that following year, so that would have been 2003, I started law school.
What kind of job did you do for the year?
It was some sort of telemarketing job. I just needed something to pay the bills.
Money. Yeah, you just needed some money.
But it was a good time because from undergrad school to law school, and law school is so serious, right? I took it extremely seriously. It was actually a good time for me just to kind of relax, let my hair down, clubbed a little bit. It was a fun time.
Yes. I definitely, you deserve to have a club, because you are a beautiful, beautiful girl.
Thank you.
I can only imagine what club life was like.
We had fun.
Yes. Sure. That is just that's so interesting, because I just did things so backwards, and getting in, you took the LSAT while you were still in school?
Yes.
Yeah, and I just thank Thurgood Marshall School of Law for allowing me to go to Thurgood Marshall School of Law.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea. I had went through this little program at SMU, and then they were talking about, I've looked up the tuition. I was like, I can't afford to go there.
Right.
I can't afford to go there.
Right.
There, I would have no extra money. There, it was just like something that I just did not. And I mean, to this day, I'm like, gosh, I made it to Thurgood, and I had never, like, really, I wasn't even into college. I'm like, like I said, I had a GED, so
Right.
I literally had nothing.
Right.
And then I did an aggressive 6-year plan. 3 years undergrad, 3 years law school.
Right.
I was like killing the game with that, but I felt like so unequipped when I got there because I was out of high school in the 10th grade. So I just felt like I was at a disadvantage from everyone there. Yeah. How was your experience in law school when you finally did get there?
Yeah, so I guess kind of similar. I didn't think I wanted to go. But it was kind of the same experience as undergraduate school. I wanted to go to law school, but once I got there, I'm like, what am I doing? Who am I to think that I can go to law school? I'm from Texarkana, Texas. Thank God I just got my undergrad degree. And now who am I to say that I want to go to law school and become a lawyer?
Isn't that crazy? It
is. But I'm also like you. Thank God for Thurgood Marshall. There's a reason that Thurgood Marshall School of Law is there, and it's for people just like us. And so I really think that had it not been for Thurgood Marshall, I would not have gone to law school.
Me neither.
And truth be told, I didn't apply to any other law school but Thurgood Marshall School of Law.
Me neither.
If I did it, I wanted to do it at Thurgood because at least I would see people who looked like me.
Me neither.
Absolutely.
Isn't that and actually, until you said that, I didn't even realize that was literally my path. I don't know why. I just was like, they gotta let me in.
Yeah.
And I guess I must have believed that they were gonna let me in because I did not apply anywhere else either.
Right.
Oh my goodness. That, I wonder what that was. That must be now. Now I'm feeling, Lord, that's amazing.
It is.
Because I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And so we all know that first year was so scary, wasn't it?
It was scary. It was rough. It was a lot of work.
What section were you in?
Section 4, baby. Section 4.
Wait, I think was I? Girl, I'm asking you what section and I think I was section 3 though.
I was gonna say I think you were section 3.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what section 4 did.
Yes.
I don't know what y'all did.
Yeah. Section 4 was the best section, I would say.
We are something else when it comes to that, right?
Yes.
And so Riley. That's because remember we went by our last names.
Yes.
Melvin Riley.
Riley, that's right.
So isn't that something? But you had a first name as a last name.
I do.
You have a first name as a last name.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, how easy is that, right? When we go check the box on the ballot.
Riley.
Okay. Easy enough. So, oh my goodness. So we made it, right? Can't believe we made it.
We made it.
This is what we came for.
Yes, we made it. Absolutely.
We made it. And so, you get out of school. Did you know did you have a job before you left? Because you know how they do us, right? Did you like intern or do anything like that when you were in law school?
You know, I did intern at Harris County DA's office.
Oh.
I believe that was my second year going into the last year. So I did intern there. It wasn't the best experience, to be quite honest. And then I did the Sunbelt Job Fair here in Dallas. And I was interviewed by a couple of DAs at the DA's office here in Dallas, and it was a great interview, and so I felt pretty good about it. And so I lived with a friend, waiting for the bar results to come in here in the Dallas area. And once I got the news past the bar, I interviewed officially with the DA's office in Dallas, and I got the job.
And you became an ADA.
I became an ADA.
That's Assistant District Attorney for those of y'all who don't know.
Yes.
And so exactly what does an ADA do?
So great question. So an Assistant District Attorney, they prosecute offenders. So cases, they come in, they are referred by the police agencies, and then they go to the grand jury. I'm talking on a felony level at this point. They go to the grand jury, and the grand jury either true bills the case or they no bill the case. If it's true bill, then it gets assigned to a court. And so what the DA's responsibility is at that point is they have a file. It's probably all electronic now, and they have like a probable cause and an offense report and DA, all the evidence that police officer or that detective has gathered. They are supposed to turn it over to that assistant district attorney. And that attorney, they read through it, they look through it, they call witnesses, they call victims, they call police officers, they have interviews, and they are to make a decision as to what the right thing is to do in that particular case. Sometimes it might be to dismiss the case, right? Because there's just not enough evidence, or something later on comes out that suggests that, this probably isn't the kind of case that we want to prosecute. And perhaps it's probation or deferred adjudication. Sometimes it's prison time, and sometimes it's just going to trial because the DA may offer X amount of years and the defendant says, hey, I'm not taking that, I want a trial. And so then they prepare for trial. And preparing for trial, just taking like the most serious case, one of the most serious cases that there is like a murder case. And so they have to call in family members, and they have to interview family members, and they have to speak to experts, DNA experts, forensic, for experts. So they have a lot on their plate, and it's not an easy job, but it is a rewarding job because you are in a position to really help someone who has been a victim of specifically some sort of assaultive or type of case.
Wow. And we see this on TV, and it looks like so amazing on TV, and people think, and this is the misconception, that lawyers get to just walk into a courtroom and just start talking, and that's just how we do it, and it's just so easy. Yeah. And so thank you for sharing that, because there is a lot of paper that goes with it. Absolutely. And there's a lot of, I guess, like the discovery process that goes through it between attorneys, where they are supposed to exchange that. Right. That evidence. And sometimes it doesn't get exchanged, and, there's just a lot that goes on with that. This is a misconception. I'm not sure if it's true, so I'm asking because I just don't know. Is there like a number, a quota, like something like that within the DA's office that you have to have as a track record?
That's a great question. I was under Craig Watkins. That's who I was hired under.
May he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. My goodness. What a great man. What a great man. He opened the doors for so many African-American individuals straight out of law school. So I'm really grateful for him.
You know what? And that's interesting that you said that, because not just African American, we're talking African American women. Absolutely. And I think that number for African Americans is at 5%. And if I would go on the ABA, the American Bar Association website, I think it's 5% now, 5% African American, 5% Hispanic, and 5% all others. And it's even less when it comes to women. Yeah. So, kudos to that. Yeah. So back to you.
So when I was an assistant district attorney, I was never told that I had to have some sort of quota. So for me, I took the cases that were before me, and if they needed to be tried, meaning that there could not be some sort of resolution, some sort of agreement between myself as a prosecutor and the defense attorney, then it needs to be tried. But I was never given, say, hey, in order for you to move up the ranks, you need to have so many trials under your belt.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's fair enough. I just wanted to, kind of expel that myth. Yeah. If since it's out there. With the how was it trying your what was that experience like trying your first case? So do you go to school? Is there some kind of school they put you through? Or?
Sure. So they do have a baby prosecutor school. As soon as you get there, as soon as you're hired on with the DA's office, you do go to a baby prosecutor school. But honestly, you learn a lot from observing trials of other prosecutors, other defense attorneys, and you just get in there and you do it. And it's all honestly about preparation. You have to really prepare your opening argument. You have to prepare the way, your witness list, the way you want to present your evidence to a jury. It's not theater, but honestly, you are presenting evidence to a jury, and you are hoping that the jury comes up with whatever correct verdict that they want to come up with. But as an ADA, you are trying to convince the jury to find this individual guilty, and here's the evidence. This is why.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I spent some time in the criminal courts, but I mean, it was a little too many miles on these shoes for me. So I was like, I be coming in the door with my little stuff. They be like, oh, you got like $10,000 on. I'd be like, oh, girl. But I did. I would go down to Frank Crawley and be down there, and I tried. But I found out that it just really wasn't my stick. So I, went to the civil side. Yeah. Where I remain to this day. But I tell you what, how long did you spend at the DA's office?
I was there a little under 10 years.
Wow, yes. You stayed a long time.
I did.
So is it scary being a DA?
When you're a DA, it's not, for me, it's not scary. If I was scared, I wouldn't do it. Are you saying scary in the sense that you're dealing with?
Yeah, like criminals in the community, and like, I don't know. It's just, to me, I always thought, gosh, I would, like, are you like looking over your shoulder, you know? And because I don't know, I think they deserve a lot more protection, judges and DAs. Like, I just like, you just walk around free after, dealing with that, and you don't know who.
Yeah, no bodyguard, security, or anything like that.
That's outrageous to me.
Yeah, so you could just finish up a murder trial, and, as a prosecutor, and an individual could have just been sentenced to X amount of time in prison, and you have no security.
That's scary.
When you think about it, and when you say it out loud.
I'm sorry for saying it, but
scary.
In me, I mean, a sister stays strapped. I mean, I am in Texas, okay?
In Texas.
Listen, and and I love my guns. I got some amazing guns, okay? Amazing ones, okay?
Yes.
Don't talk about that P210, okay? I got a lot. That's my favorite one. But I do. I love it. Your dad being in the military, he would know what gun I'm talking about.
Yes, he would know. He would know. For sure.
But yeah, that scares me about it. And then you had the nerve to turn around after leaving the DA's office and decide, how did you make the decision to go to the judiciary side of things?
I made the decision to run for judge. I left the DA's office and I started my private practice in criminal defense.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I was a criminal defense lawyer for a little under
So she went from
5 years.
The bad side to the good side, or the good side to the bad side.
Hey, whichever way you want to look at it.
I'm just kidding. I just, how people do that.
Right,
the lawyer's like, oh, you went to the good side, or you went to the bad side.
Yeah, the criminal defense, they say that's the bad side. But hey, I think it's all good because you're fighting for whatever side you are advocating for at that time.
Because it's justice.
That's what justice looks like.
Equal
from my
justice
perspective,
under the law.
anyway.
Yeah.
And so as a criminal defense attorney, I loved it. I not only enjoyed the freedom of being able to, move around in the way I wanted to, but you gain a different perspective as a criminal defense attorney. Because prosecutors, you're only dealing with like police officers and witnesses and things that could help your case. But on the flip side, and there is a flip side, you get to learn it. You get to learn who this individual is charged with this offense. You get to learn how they grew up. You get to understand what their challenges are or were. You get to meet and have sit downs with their family members and figure out how did we get to this point, right? And then you also, get to fight for those clients where this is just not, this individual isn't actually guilty of this offense, or the evidence is lacking. Let me say it that way, because you never really know.
Right.
You never really know.
Wow.
Because in order to know, we would have to actually have been there when it happened.
Exactly.
But looking at the evidence, you can comb through it and you can say, hey, that this is missing or this is missing, or so
it's more likely than not.
Or there is a reasonable doubt that this individual committed this offense. And again, here's why. Even though defense attorneys, they don't have to prove an individual innocent because that's the DA's job.
Right. So it's the DA's job to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, Bart, that it is, right?
Right.
And so I forget how it all works. I forget if it's like the probable or the probable somewhere else, or
Proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay.
That's what it is. That's the standard on the jury trial level.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And do you need, so a jury just needs, does it have to be unanimous in Texas or?
Yes. So it has to be unanimous in Texas.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So if you get one dissenter, then.
Mistrial.
Okay.
You got to do it over again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I got to play in some, I got to, I don't know if you, not Craig, but gosh, what was his name? Mr. Washington in Houston. He did Craig Washington. I did the death trial with him.
Okay.
I did, what was the truck driver from down in Tyrone Williams? I did the retrial of that, and we did a theme, Death is Different, on the defense side, and that was the 17 people who were in the back of the truck coming from Victoria, Texas, and the people were in the refrigerated cooler, and they and it stopped working apparently, and they suffocated, and they found these people, and he was just a truck driver that the coyotes put some folks on. He was thought he was, according to the evidence, he thought he was taking 1 or 2, 3, but it ended up in 17 people died, and it was like hundreds.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, on the back. So I did get to play, like I said, and now what was her name? Lydia from Thurgood Marshall School of Law that ran the criminal clinic.
Oh, it's not Johnson.
Yeah, but we know Professor. Yes.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes, and so I'll never forget that because she was like, "Are you one of his concubines?" I was like, "What is a concubine?"
Right.
I had no idea what it was, but now I read it in the Bible, and I'm like, "Oh no, I was not."
No,
you know, but I could not believe that because I'm like, no, I just happened to be one of the 9 out of the 9 that actually me and Alonzo that actually stayed to the end and did that. So got to see a lot with that and participate and read and go through the witness and the videos and the interviews.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
great experience.
It was amazing experience. And I literally thought I was going to do that. And then I just did not. So, wow, this is just, it's so good because any information or any light that we can shed on like the legal system and the legal process, in Dallas, we're kind of lucky because you see yourself, like I see you as my sister-in-law, but we know when we go in those courts, like I'm up in Collin County, I hardly see myself.
Yes.
We've got one African-American judge, and that's Judge Tucker on the bench. And and had she not changed from Democrat to Republican, she would not be there. And if I ever ran, I'd have to run there. And that's what I would be. Yes. Because I don't join losing teams. And so, I could, that would be that path. Yes. But I think it's amazing. So you practice. So you were in the DA's office, and then you went into this private practice, and then what happened? What did you do? Like, how did you know? How did you even begin? How did the idea even come into your head about, running for judge? I mean, you have all the knowledge and the experience. You got 10 years under your belt, plus criminal defense. Right. So you ready.
Right. Yeah. I think once I did not have the idea to run for judge until I became a defense attorney. And I think something just clicked for me because, and I didn't really talk about this, but when I was in undergraduate school, I worked as a prison guard at one of the death row unit, to be quite honest with you.
The Pulaski?
That is correct.
I visited that.
Did you?
Yes. I visited that death row, and I actually went there. And I actually went to the chamber and that whole thing.
Yes. So they have
the Pulaski, and then there's another one.
Walls unit.
Yeah, the Walls. I went to both.
In Huntsville.
Yeah, so Pulaski and Walls. I got the stickers and all that stuff. I actually did that post law school. Going for a PhD in something that had to do with criminal. That's how much I thought I was going to do criminal.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So I do have that experience as a correctional officer. I worked my way through undergrad, doing that kind of work. And then, when I went to Sam Houston State University, I majored in criminal law. And then I was a prosecutor, and now I'm a defense attorney. And something just clicked, like, why not? I have all of this experience behind me. And I would get on the bench, and in my mind, I know what justice looks like at this point. I've seen several angles, several different perspectives of the criminal justice system as a whole. So why not? And so I did.
I think that makes you more than qualified to be on the bench and where you are, because of the fact that you've seen the inside of the prison.
Right.
My mom worked in corrections. She retired from the state of New Jersey. So she worked at Annandale, and that's where she retired from. So she has my mom talks prison talk. It's hilarious. She's like 70 years old, and she still uses prison slang sometimes. Yes. I'm like, oh my goodness, mommy, you gotta stop. She's hilarious with it. And then because she was there so many years, she cannot even help it.
Right.
It's so funny to see a 70-something-year-old woman like do that sometimes. I'm like, Mom, where'd you get that from? And where'd you hear that at? So
it's a different lingo.
See you do so from the inside.
Yes.
Then going ahead and helping protecting the public.
Right.
And so that's what you do as a DA. As DAs, you're serving the public. You're protecting those victims, or at least trying to get them some sort of redress for the crimes against them. Yes. And then you turn around and then you go and you work on the defense side. So you get to see, knowing what the other side can do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you understand that, and then you take that information and it culminates into you running for office. So how does one go about running for office? So once it came to you, and once you got that calling, because I have to say it must be a calling. Yeah. I mean, I feel like a pastor or a minister or someone is called into the ministry.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's a calling. Yeah. And I know, and I'm not sure if you feel that same way, but.
No, I do, just because of how God has set my life up, right? Because of the path that I took. From Texarkana, my sister and my mom, they both worked in the prison system for a little bit, and then going to undergrad with the criminal law degree, and then just prosecute. It's just the path that I took in order to get to the place that I am now. So I do feel like I am where I am supposed to be right now.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh wow. And I won't ask you your age. So.
Oh, you can. I don't mind. Yeah.
I mean, like, how old were you when you got on the bench? Let's just say that.
Oh,
you can't ask a woman her age.
40 years old.
Yeah.
40, 41.
So young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'll take that. I'll take that. I'm getting.
I mean, you still look like a baby.
Well, thank you. I'll accept that.
You probably don't think so, because I don't think I look like I don't know what I look like, what age I look like.
You look good,
but yeah,
that's all it matters. Yeah, you look good. Yes.
YouTuber.
Thank you.
So you got to take me through what this process looks like. So what do you do if you want to run? So in Texas, it's all election, right? You got to run for office.
To be a criminal district judge or a county judge or even the DA, you do have to run. People have to vote you into office. And so when I decided to make a run for office, I talked to some of my close colleagues. You may know Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah. Well, listen, everybody's spinning. Yeah. Do you know that this man used her words the other day when President Biden was speaking?
No.
Yes. A Caucasian male had the nerve to say, spinning. No. I looked at the television, and Mario, he was here with me. I said, that man just used Jasmine. She just said, you ought to be dizzy right now.
Yes.
So, Jasmine.
Yes. She also started out at Thurgood Marshall.
Didn't she? And then she transferred to U of H?
Yes.
See, I knew that.
Yes.
I know Jasmine.
Yes.
I told them I know Jasmine. I was like, I've been knowing
You
Jasmine.
absolutely do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm proud of that sister too.
Isn't she doing her thing?
And she,
Proud of her.
the way Texas supposed to do it.
Yes, I am extremely proud of her.
Yes. So tell me.
So, I talked to a couple of people. She was running for, I believe, the House of Representatives at the time.
Yep.
And so I just kind of got...
I've been watching her I've been knowing her. I mean, like knowing of Jasmine, even talking back in, I remember when she was making the decision to go to U of H.
Yes. So we just had a conversation. She had been working on campaigns, and so I knew she knew way more than what I knew about working a campaign at the time. So I talked to her. I talked to a few more people, and I just, decided to run. You have to get out there. You have to, put yourself out there to the public. Let people know who you are and why you are running and why this position is important to you. So it's a lot of ripping and running and going around to different events, but it's great because you're meeting so many different people.
So do you have to get comfortable with public speaking? Is that...
You do. Mm-hmm. You do have to get comfortable with it, or at least you have to kind of just push yourself out there just to do it. Because as a prosecutor or as a criminal defense attorney, you do have to speak, right? You do have to present things to, a jury, but it's a little different when you are trying to sell yourself, so to speak, because people don't know anything about you, and you have to get to know people, and you have to let them in on who you are, what you stand for, and again, why you are running.
Okay.
Right.
What would you say? Give me a little campaign speech.
Well, it's kind of everything that we just talked about.
No. I know. I'm just teasing you.
I mean, I was going to give it to you.
I want it. Give it to me. Just give me 1 minute.
1 minute?
Yeah, what
right
would I do? Yeah, like if I was going to go into a room and then that was my first time, and what would you tell me what you would tell me to do?
What would I do? Okay, so I will introduce myself. Hi, I am Judge Riley. I am up for re-election. Just to let you know, we are doing great work in our courtroom. I now have an AIM court. AIM stands for Achieve, Inspire, and Motivate. I'm kind of getting off my script now because I'm telling you about AIM court.
Oh, I want to know about AIM.
I would include that in my in my speech, but it's honest, it's true. But AIM Court is a first-time offender court for youthful offenders, first-time offenders between the age of 17 and 24, nonviolent youth offenders. And so it's a program that I'm thankful to be a part of, that I get to preside over. I have a great staff, and these individuals, they come in and they are provided with several different resources from, trying to obtain your GED. We provide work resources available to them. They have to do certain things like community service, give back to the community, and a number of other different things. But at the end of this program, their case gets completely dismissed. So that's wonderful. One thing that I'm extremely proud of. We do really good work.
And then is it non-disclosed at that point, or expunged?
They can then on their own file a petition for non-disclosure to get that kind of sealed.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing. I mean, because people, they make mistakes all the time.
Yes, they do.
And just a simple mistake or something, I don't think it should impact you forever. Just like I feel like, but you may feel different. I'm like, you do your time. I don't feel like you need to keep, you shouldn't have to keep going through that same thing. So a lot of the programs are things that that are unavailable to some of the felons. I'm just like, why? I mean, come on, these people have, they did their time. Like, let them come on, which is why in the probate court, I'm so excited about on the executor level. When I go, I actually have my first convicted felon who is I have my first application in for a convicted felon applying to be the executor of his grandfather's estate. Well, because Texas changed that law and it kicked in, and for the first time in January, they can now apply if they're named in the will. And so I am like, he's named in the will. We'll see how it goes down with the court and what they think. But, he doesn't have a moral turpitude type of a crime. So there's no theft. If there's not a moral turpitude type of crime, which is theft or something, dishonesty, but just a drug offense. So it's like, okay, why should he not? That's who his grandfather left and wanted to be in control. So I'm loving that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, good luck with that. Hopefully it'll work out for your clients.
It will.
Of
It
course.
works out for my
Attorney
clients.
Melvin.
I'm like, it typically works out.
Right.
Thank you. And not because I'm no big bad. It's just because I prepare and I evaluate a case when it comes through my door, whether or not I believe it can move forward.
Right.
And then it's up to the discretion of the judge, following the rules of law.
That's what you call experience.
Yes, it's a good teacher.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that. I wanted to get back to that. So I know that it's a little bit much that I'm asking, but I just want to know if you could, like, did you have to get petitions? Like, did you have to go and get like signatures and all that stuff?
Yes.
And did you need to choose a party?
Yes, you do have to choose a party. I am a Democrat, diehard Democrat. And yes, you do have to get petitions signed. I can't remember the exact amount, but yes, when you go around and you're introducing yourself to individuals, you will go and you have them sign your petition.
Okay.
So you have to file your petitions with the party. There's an application that you also submit to the party.
No, I mean, because once a long time ago, and I'm in Collin County, I was in school, and this group came, and it was like Republican Women's or something, and they were like, "Oh, you would make a great," and my government instructor told these people about me, and they came and they wanted me to run for office, and I was like, but I mean, I was,
Are you still thinking about it?
Oh, maybe one day.
Okay.
I literally, Judge Copeland just got off the bench, and he's been on the probate court forever. Okay. And he and so that's coming up. I'm sure a bunch of folks are probably going to run for that. Well, I won't say all the things that I would like to say, but I am in Collin County, and then we've got Judge Everett, Judge Jan, they're repping Denton County. Absolutely. Judge Everett is one of my favorite, and just an amazing Christian man, and just an amazing attorney, and I've known him, and I've just been around so many. I have so much respect. I mean, there's really, I can't say that there's anyone that I dislike in this career.
If you ran, you won. I think you would be an excellent judge.
No, I would take it, but I gotta sit still. That's another thing. You gotta sit down all day long and listen. You
have to sit down you have to listen. You sit. You don't, that's what the attorneys do as a judge. And I had to get used to it because I was used to the rip, and it's a grind when you have private practice. But you sit and you listen. Yeah.
I try to tell people our job as attorneys is to give the law and the facts so that the court can evaluate that. Right. Because I don't know, there's just like all these misconceptions out there about what we actually do, and so I'm just trying to clear some of that up. So a typical day for you. So when you walk in the door, you get the staff. So when you win, right?
Yes.
Which you have, you're going to do it again.
Yes.
And, you just did it again.
I did. I did. Thankfully, I did not have an opponent. Praise God. Yes. So I will start my next term next year.
Okay. Yeah. And so in Dallas County, you're good. It's a heavy Democratic county. Definitely, you don't have a shot in Collin, and you don't have a shot in a whole lot of other, maybe not even Tarrant, or a whole bunch of other ones. Because with me having land issues, I'm in Leon County. I'm in what is by Fairfield. I was just in this Freestone County. Okay. I mean, when I say I'm in counties all over the place, I love it so much. Yes. I love it so much. But even when I did outside work for TDCJ, I would do the outside counsel stuff, and they would send me to WISE and all this. That's awesome. The first thing. Tasha Hoy taught me about that.
Yes,
and Watane was my
love Watane.
Remember Watane?
I do.
Oh, that was my.
I think that's how I was introduced to you, through Watane.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, I just knew that you were a fabulous law school hairdresser. I mean, I knew I was nowhere on your level, right? So
I was a single mom of two trying to get through school. Well, you was a hairstylist, but they thought, because little beam was this or that. I was working hard. Okay,
yes.
My friends didn't have to work. I had to work on the weekends and driving back. But I tell you what, I really appreciate you coming and sharing what it is that you have to do to get there. And then it's not just about the what you have to do to get there. It's about what you do while you're there.
Why you're there.
So tell me a little bit about what that day looks like for you when you get into, or what was the first day like when you walked in?
It was different. I had to adjust just being called judge. I mean, people would say judge, and I just not realize that they were talking about me. No, honestly, I just didn't realize.
You were like,
I had to get used to just being called judge. But the first day, I wasn't really nervous. I just was more interested in really getting to know my bailiffs and my clerk and the DAs that were assigned to my court at the time, just getting adjusted to becoming a judge. But a typical day looks like you have a docket. I have a docket every single day.
Is it backed up like crazy?
It is still backed up, I think, a little bit from COVID, but our numbers have gone down tremendously just as a whole. But we're there, we're working, and trying to, for me, if I give PR bonds, because the PR bond comes up a lot.
Those
especially
are personal recognizance.
So it's a get out of jail free card for those who don't know. But, if there's an individual who first time offender, perhaps second time offender, non-violent offender, I'll look at it and try to it's always trying to help out the jail population. I'll give those PR bonds. So I have bond hearings daily. Pleas daily.
Yes.
Open pleas daily, revocation hearings. So I have all those kind of hearings, and then we have jury trials. Yes.
Wow. That is what, so the personal recognizance bonds are, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I'm of the belief that people, just because you don't have money doesn't mean that you should sit in jail. So I love that you brought that up, and that's something that you work through, and that I guess it sounded like you believe in that.
No,
and
for
if
sure.
you can do it, you try to do that.
For sure, for sure.
For nonviolent offenses.
Right. Nonviolent offenders, youthful offenders, individuals first time incarcerated, second time perhaps. I take every case and look at it. So an individual nonviolent offender, first time offender, youthful offender, you just take a look at it as a whole. And if it's someone that I think could benefit from a PR bond, then I give PR bonds.
And as a judge, you have the judicial discretion to do that?
Yes, I do.
Because I think something that the public may or may not know is sometimes a judge doesn't have the discretion, and she has to follow the letter of the law, right?
Yes.
And those are probably sometimes very hard, right? To have to follow just the letter of the law because the law said so, when maybe you might want to do something different.
Yeah, I mean, as a judge, you take an oath to follow the law. So I'm always going to follow the law. Judges have a lot of discretion as to sentences. So if someone came open to me, for example, on a case, they came over to me for punishment. So they've admitted guilt, and now they're saying, hey, give me another chance, probation instead of prison time. And let me explain to you why. Judges have a lot of discretion when it comes down to sentencing like that. Or if it's probation violation, instead of sending me to prison, give me another opportunity. Yeah, I messed up. This is why I messed up. Give me another opportunity. So judges have a lot of discretion when it comes down to things like that.
Okay. So this just sounds like it's your calling. Do you have any other plans or anything that you would want to do? Like if for some reason, like when you're done with the bench, or is it that you pretty much want to ride this out and retire?
I would love to retire. I would love to retire. I enjoy doing what I do. I think I am good at what I do. I know that I'm extremely fair to both sides.
I know you're good at what you do.
Thank you.
And that's why I wanted you to speak to you.
Thank you very much. So I don't necessarily have any plans. I would love to retire from what I'm doing currently. I mean, but I don't want to limit myself. We limit ourselves sometimes. If the door opens, I'll look into it. But as of now, I enjoy being a judge.
Yeah, I only want it to be like Judge Judy. I mean, like totally, honestly, I would love
Judge Judy is no nonsense.
And the show.
Yes.
Like that would be like an amazing judge type thing.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Like, I don't know. Hey, can we get some Black Judge Judy's out there, network television?
Judge
please?
Melvin in the building.
I want to just kind of ask a question because I pretty much asked so many things. But one of the things that, do you feel like you're having an impact in your position as a judge? I do.
I do feel like I have an impact in a couple of ways. Just one, being inside of the courtroom, being an African American female, a female that's from Texarkana, Texas.
Absolutely.
I know that I'm having an impact because there are situations that I can relate to that perhaps other people cannot relate to. And so that changes my perspective on what my outcome or what my sentence might look like as opposed to someone else's.
Yes.
Of course, there are those hardcore criminals who choose to make really horrible choices, and those people, there's a place for those people.
Exactly.
And I don't hesitate to do what I need to do far as punishment when it comes to those people. But I really enjoy helping and assisting individuals, especially people who are addicted to substances, or young people who just need another opportunity because perhaps they did not grow up with a mentor, or just someone that they could look at and say, hey, I want to do better with my life. So I know I'm having an impact because I do give, I love to give second chances when it's warranted. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love, I know that you're having an impact because if I walk into a courtroom and I can actually have some frame of reference,
yes,
or feel like somebody might understand. I mean, that we don't all come from silver spoons in our mouth, and we don't all have like unlimited money.
Right.
We can get the kind of, different representation.
Right.
And I mean, it is associated with money, but that's what the student loan debt was for, right?
Right.
And all the years and the hours that we toil as attorneys, as lawyers, to try to bring justice, right, and or some sort of redress or retribution to individuals, right, and to protect the public, because that's what we're all out here trying to do. And then for me on the civil side, it's just like trying to deal with disputes and,
right,
and try to settle them, if not amicably, the way that the law says it should, based off of the facts and the evidence. And so I absolutely love that. But I just wanted to know, did you, as a almost a final question, but are there any pain points as far as like with the career, with your career as a judge? I mean, I think that's amazing. I mean, other than being like the president of the United States, like sitting on the judicial bench, right, is just like, or being a part of the judiciary is like an amazing accomplishment. Once upon a time, it used to be, it was all like lawyers who were judges. Now it was like a free for all, right? Yeah. In some of the, in a lot of places, anybody can do it. But are there any like pain points associated with, or anything that like, I don't know, has affected you, in doing that job? Because it must be tough, right?
It is tough. It can be tough. I like I say, I enjoy doing what I do, but sometimes the decisions that judges make, they are tough. Yes, I'm a judge, but I am a human being. And, some of the things that you see in that courtroom, some of the evidence is hard to look at. It's tough to listen to. Emotions are involved. You have family members who are involved. So sometimes you do take that kind of stuff home with you. But I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. This is what I do.
And you're a mom?
I am a mother. Yes.
And how old is your son?
My son is 10 years old.
Oh, and your son is so handsome and so beautiful.
Thank you.
Is that what just keeps you going? And
he definitely keeps me going. He gives me the drive when I just, everyone has those days, but you get up and you go anyway. And he is a driving factor in my motivation just to keep doing what I'm doing and then some.
Yeah. Yeah, because we do it for the kids.
Absolutely.
I mean, you see mine around here, running around here today.
Beautiful
Look
kids.
at my beautiful adults,
Smart
right?
children.
26 and 36.
Yes.
Come on through.
Yes.
And just as kind
Yes.
and nice
Yes, I
and
can tell.
around mom. And I mean, there's nothing. I've always loved my kids. I love my kids. I've
Yes.
been loving my kids since
Yes.
the day they came out. I just love them
Yes.
so much. And I'm so thankful, right? Because it could be a ton of different ways when people don't
Absolutely.
have that closeness.
Right.
And it was always just us trooping it,
Yeah.
when I was, back and forth, we'd
Yeah.
be rolling in the car,
Yeah.
going with mommy. And I thought, oh gosh, I have no money there. Like when I was getting through law school, this
Yeah.
is terrible,
Yeah.
But
look at
what
you now.
it looked like to them. I mean, we were still in a Beamer. Right?
Oh.
It was terrible, but it was because
I
mommy
had a
was
Nissan, so-
mommy was doing hair, right?
Right.
Mommy was doing hair, but let's say there were those times when they were coming with the the tow trucks, trying to find it for a payment. Let me be clear,
Right.
it was not easy,
Right.
but we made it.
We made it.
And I just want to take this moment. I have something for you. I want to thank you so much for coming to the Black Aristocrat.
Thank
I
you
mean,
for having
if you
me.
think back in history, and
Yeah.
this is why I try to pay homage to the ancestors,
Yeah.
because listen, none of us would be here, and I don't say that lightly.
Right.
We would not be here if we did not have the ancestors who fought and did some things before us, and
Absolutely.
actually we're the ones who's doing it for the next
Yes, we
generation.
are.
Because it sounds like today there are so many. I hear stories about everybody wanting to go to law school and become lawyers, and I think that's phenomenal.
Yes,
I
it
think
is.
there's enough abundance to go around. I
Absolutely.
think that way about life. So
Yes.
I'm never like that greedy person. I want everyone to do well,
right.
and I think there's enough.
Right.
But I did want to take this moment
Aw.
and give you, this is called in the Real Aristocratic Times, a coronation. And if you will accept this from the Black Aristocrat staff,
I would be
I
honored.
would love to give you your crown because you are a queen, a queen of justice.
very much.
And thank you so much, sis.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to subscribe right here, right now to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on all socials at Alisha Melvin ESQ and hashtag Black Aristocrats. Thank you so much for joining us.